I am a hopeless romantic. No, not in the sense that I wear my heart on my sleeve and there's nobody there to love me back. But instead, I'm hopelessly romantic for the arts. For the starving artist myth. For the tortured, brooding artist. You know, the writer that sits in his little log cabin, hunched over his typewriter with a cigarette in hand. I'm just hopelessly romantic for these mysterious artist stereotypes. The craft person working away in his shop, the artist being struck by the muse from a drug-induced bender. Just this person who works tirelessly without rest, without eating, you know, being all consumed in the work itself. I'm often so hopelessly romantic for this artist lifestyle that I often forget to make art, write, or produce anything with my hands. And although I do spend the majority of my time in my studio, I spend more time fantasizing about doing the craft than actually getting on with it. It's this romantic idea of the arts being connected to a higher power, some calling, being struck with spiritual revelation, and then giving birth to something original that just seems to consume me. But that's really not how art is made. Creativity doesn't work like that. Sure, sometimes you will be struck with inspiration and then you might have the motivation to go forth and produce that thing, but you know, inspiration is often, it's like starting a fire, you know. It's a small spark, and that spark you can coax into a fully roaring fire. But if you don't act on that spark quickly, then it just dies out. And so art is really made by people who are always tending the fire, you know, always working. Art is made by people who take action to make things. Just having an idea is not enough to bring that thing into reality. One actually has to start the process of creating, or as Steven Pressfield puts it in his latest book, you need to put your ass where your heart wants to be. And I think that maybe somebody from the outside looking in at my life might see my life as reminiscent of one of these stereotypes. However, I wouldn't really know if that's true or not, because it's impossible for me to see from somebody else's perspective. All I really know is that I do hold on to these stereotypes a little too closely. They're intimately wrapped up with my self-identity, and to be honest, it's just not really good for me and for life, and I would argue it's not doing you any good as well if you hold on to these artist stereotypes, because I do genuinely believe that it is possible in this day and age to break free of those stereotypes and have an amazing art career that does pay well and does support the work that you want to make. But for me, it's just so hard to let go of these stereotypes and move into that place where the work is paying for itself and it's abundant. I think that the reason why I am making this video now is because I know if I want to be successful, I have to break free from these stereotypes and pursue a career that is predominantly my own. There's not really a roadmap for what I want to try and to achieve. Sure, there are many YouTubers, bloggers, visual artists, craftsperson, writers that are all doing elements of the things I want to do, and in fact I'm not really sure if I'm really doing or saying anything that's that original. And when it comes down to it, everything I'm doing, I've learned or watched or read about from how others have done it. But I suppose the way I'm trying to piece my so-called career together is what's unique to me, and I would argue that that's what's unique to you as well. Watching this, you don't, if you're a creative person, you don't want a cookie cutter solution to the problem of earning money. And that's kind of what it boils down to, really, because, you know, money is a form of exchange. You exchange your energy and get money in return, and that's how you pay for everything in the modern world. You could go and live in a compound somewhere where everything is bartered and traded. I'm not sure there are that many communities like that left in the world. So money is the thing that you need, really, to survive. In terms of getting money for your creative work, you have to put yourself out there. And for me, I just find it so hard to put myself out there and share what I'm working on. But I really want to. And I'm trying not to judge myself for the things I want to create, especially when it comes to like my writing and making YouTube videos, but I just keep stopping myself. And I desperately want to delete my Instagram account. That platform just brings me absolutely no joy. I just think I want to focus on my website and possibly this YouTube channel. I really like YouTube, and although I consume way too much content on YouTube, it's actually starting to get quite boring. I'm so bored of watching other people live their lives and not living my own. It's time I started sharing more of my work, even if it's deeply personal and vulnerable like this video. I think that's important, and I want my channel to be quite raw and vulnerable, and I want to talk about the real human condition, everything we experience in life, the ups, the downs. I want this channel to be able to help people ultimately. I would love for you and I to be living our fullest creative potential. And maybe that's a pipe dream that's not quite possible. You know, some days we just don't have the energy to do that, and it can be quite frustrating living in your own personal soap opera that's created in your mind. And I often find it funny how you can see all your own flaws, and you might even know how to fix them or what you need to do to focus and get on with life, but you just can't seem to do anything about it sometimes. And yeah, I laugh at myself often. I often think of the analogy of like climbing a mountain. If you want to climb a mountain, you just have to focus on each stage and each step of walking. You can't stand at the bottom of the mountain looking up at the top thinking, oh shit, that's just impossible. And when it comes to making art and making YouTube videos and thinking, oh, I want to earn money from this, I'm just looking at the mountain and thinking it's impossible. It's impossible to climb up it. When I know it's not, because I see other people who do have a successful art career or have success on YouTube or wherever they're doing their creative things. I know the reason why they're successful is because they're not stood looking at the mountain of how do I be successful. They're just focusing on what can I produce today, what can I make today. And so yeah, if you get stuck looking at the mountain, you might end up thinking, why even try? Why even bother? There's no way I'm gonna get up there. But you can't think like that. Can't think like that. And so if there's something I want you to take away from this video today, it's that just focus on what you can do today, right now, and don't look at the mountain that you have to climb, because you can't jump from the bottom to the top of the mountain, but you can slowly walk up it and get to the top. I hope. We'll find out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next week, have a good week. Goodbye.